Back in the day when my daughter was involved in the adolescent mental health world and we as a family were involved and we're making consistent visits down to a treatment center in Utah, which my daughter wasn't a big fan of. It's a funny thing about 12, 13-year-old girls. They don't like being locked up. And in fact, taking her there was the single worst day of my life. I've been with my father when he died. I was up for about 48 hours as he died. Dropping my daughter off at that place was the single worst, most painful day of my life. If you're even considering this, understand something about the power dynamics in places like this. I'll explain in a second. This ties into, for me, this video that this mother shot of her little boy asking, why is that man dressed like a woman, dressed in a dress? Now, I'll get into the comparison of why I opened that way so that you understand the power dynamics and a little story I'm going to share with you about places like that. That is one that will live in my heart forever until the day I die. So this mother is confronted by this sweet, sweet little boy, and she has a brilliant, brilliant answer to his question.
I knew one day we were going to have this conversation. There are people in this world who are lost, okay? They don't know the Lord, okay? They're just lost souls, okay? We got to pray for them. So there will be guys acting like girls or wanting to be girls, and there will be girls acting like guys and wanting to be guys. Okay? There are some guys that they really think they're a girl, and there are some girls that think they're a guy. They're not happy with the gender they are, and a gender means male or female. You're a male, right? And I'm a female. But we don't do that. Okay?
Okay.
We don't dress up like other genders. We don't do that type of stuff. Okay?
Okay.
We gonna always be ourselves. You understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to wear heels like that man and put a wig on?
No.
Hey, girl, that's what you want?
No. And I don't want to wear a purse either. I want to be the regular way I am and still get even haircuts and just be a boy myself.
You're a boy. That's how God made you. You understand me?
Yes.
You don't change what God created you to be. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
God is not okay with that. God said that there is man and there is woman. He didn't say that men can turn into women and women can turn into men. That's not what it is, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Truth wrapped in grace. And the little boy looking up at his mother with those eyes, that age where they trust us. Praise God for how she handled that. Truth wrapped in kindness. That's the only way to handle things like this. So why did I open talking about an adolescent treatment center and my daughter? Because I want to share with you a story of how potent kindness is in the face of this gender confusion. Because if you're even considering your kids are even being considered for a lockup facility or your grandkids, understand something. Before you make that decision, understand you'll be sending them into a place where a lot of kids are going to have contests to see who has the most conditions, who is sickest, who has the most mental illnesses. Sometimes it has to happen. My wife and I disagree about the efficacy of this afterwards. We both agree it saved our daughter's life. I'll share this with you in a second. It's not necessarily life-saving, but it's life-sustaining. That is the ability to get as much nutrients from your food as you possibly can, and also in that way, get the most nutrients for your money. I use a series of products from Bioptimizers. This one took them 243 experiments to be able to release with a breakthrough label on it. They are famous for calling their products breakthroughs. This was a breakthrough after they went and had it tested at Birch International University in Bosnia. They did a side-by-side test of masszymes. These are the digestive enzymes they've created, this very, very potent blend of these, and no masszymes. People who took masszymes had a 1,200% increase into production of amino acids. And branch-chain aminos are the building blocks of of muscle, and they sustain muscle. So if you're on any sort of fat loss journey at all or any sort of restricted diet at all, this can help you maintain your muscle and, in fact, increase your metabolism through that. It also provides great digestive comfort. It adapts to any diet, high carb, low carb, paleo, what have you, keto. So do this. Go to bioptimizers.com/Todd. Get 10% off your bottle of masszymes now, and don't let poor digestion hold you back from reaching your full potential mentally, spiritually, physically. Bioptimizers.com/Todd. Get 10% off and begin your journey to better health right now. In this facility in Utah, where we would make regular visits at least once a month, I sometimes went down twice. There were a bunch of young women in there, girls to young women, up to the age, I guess, of just before 18. I think they had to age out at 18. And everyone was there for a reason. Sometimes it was suicidal intent, or, well, I mean, there's almost always that. There wasn't really an eating disorder clinic. This is really for kids who are really on their last, hope. And a ton of the girls had adopted all sorts of different personalities. Sometimes it was they decided to become sexually promiscuous. That's very, very common with girls who've been raped. It's a way of seizing control of their sexuality. Sometimes they were just criminal, acting out in ways that were, attention-seeking. The purpose of the center was to find out why they were doing this, what core beliefs were driving this. In one visit, I went in to talk with my daughter, and she really, really wanted me to meet another student. They're called students there. There is a school. Kids go through school there. So she wanted me to meet this student, but she used a male name, Billy. So I asked one of the therapists, hey, my daughter wants me to meet Billy. What's Billy's real name? Real name is Jennifer. I'm not going to use the fake name. I'm not going to use the fake gender. My daughter knew this. But she was acting out of societal respect for people's delusions. So she was busy in a session, and I went downstairs to see if I could introduce myself to Billy, because my daughter wanted to see if we could take Billy and her parents out to dinner and go out and enjoy some time together. I walked into the kitchen, and there was an older girl, probably 17. And her job that day was to prep the kitchen and get meals ready because it was a family visit weekend. So I walked into her and said, hey, hi. I said, I'm, my daughter, use my daughter's name. I'm my daughter's name's dad. And I'm wondering, can you help me find Jenny O? And she looked at me angrily. She said, you mean Billy? And she put this dish down and looked at me now, you mean Billy? I said, I think we're using a different name for the same person. My daughter really likes this person. We were hoping to take this person to dinner tonight with her family. She said, Billy is right there by the pool. Billy has the green shirt on. That's Billy. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I walked out. As I was walking, I just about stepped on a little girl. Now, in this case, I think she was probably 12. I think that's the minimum age you can be in that facility. And she was laying down on gray concrete wearing gray sweats and a gray sweatshirt. And I legitimately just about hit her because I couldn't see her. And I said to her, sweetie, I just about hit you. You're gray on gray. She said, that's the point. What's the point? She goes, I'm looking to disappear. Oh, good plan. You're doing a good job of it. She was drawing something. I said, hey, I love art. Can I take a look at that, please? And I said, hey, I'm this girl's dad. So she knew who I was. And I sat down by her. And she introduced herself with a weird name I'm not going to repeat. And I learned and knew, I think ahead of time, that she was acting to be non-binary. She's neither male nor female. My daughter told me about that when I heard her name and realized who she was. And we talked about the drawing. It was a beautiful, beautiful landscape with a home on it and people out in front of it. It was an advanced drawing. It was really well done. And as I was looking at this, a girl came over in a green shirt, Billy. And this girl walked up in a male pose, chest out, loud voice, cartoonishly male. Hey, is he bugging you? Said this very slight, very lovely teen girl. And the girl on the concrete said, no, he was looking at my art. I said, actually, I think my daughter wants to take you to dinner. I am. And I said my daughter's name. She said, oh, yeah. She talked about that. I'd really like to do that. Let me just finish here. Maybe we can talk about this. And I looked at the drawing this girl made, and I said, look, this is phenomenal art. Can I ask you a question? In this picture, who's that wearing a dress? Oh, well, that's me back when I wanted to have kids and be pretty. I used to want to be beautiful. And Billy looked down at the ground and said, you are. You are. Now, you got to be careful in circumstances like this because you don't want to be creepy. I never want to be creepy around young girls. I stood up and said, hey, speaking as a dad, I'd be really proud to have such a well-spoken and lovely daughter as you. She tried not to smile, but she did. We made plans for dinner. She was going to get her parents, and we would do this and go out and talk and enjoy this time together. When I went back out into the kitchen, there was that very aggressive girl standing there, the one who said, Billy's right there. As I walked by, she said, sir, yep, you found Jennifer. I did. Thank you. The lesson was this. She saw the entire encounter because she went later to my daughter and said, your dad's pretty cool. It's not about me being cool. It's about responding to these confusions in a way that you would respond to your kid being confused about anything else or anyone else's kid. Let's not make the lie of transgenderism anything that causes us to act in any way that doesn't contain love, because the Lord Jesus made a habit of speaking truth wrapped in grace. And remember this, all of us require his grace.